I wish I had learned this truth many years ago. Be thankful for the days, good and bad.
Welcome to Warrior versus Zombie, and this episode is going to be unique, as they all are, because we each week talk to warriors from all walks of life. But before we get started in today's discussion, which is the 2022 Vision Challenge, I want to talk to you about what Warrior versus Zombie is all about. So success is a journey. It's not a destination. As warriors, we all have a history of ups and downs, wins and losses that make us part of make us who we are today, and are part of our journey as we move forward and provide a foundation. We all battle our inner zombie as well as those zombies in our world. And in each episode, I interview warriors from all walks of life, aspiring leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, health practitioners, business owners, really any inspired leader that has a story to tell. These warriors have a cause, they have unique value, and a vision that goes generations into the future. And today's episode will feature myself talking about my warrior journey and creation of the 2022 now Vision Challenge. So let me tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll go back, and again, we're streaming this live on Facebook, experimenting here, trying to look at doing it live in the Hive and live on Facebook each week. And so I figured, what better way to do this than to test it with myself and see how it works. This will also be on all the audio platforms, so when I take a quick break, you'll know that you'll hear a little bit of music on the audio, and then you'll be back. So hopefully there's not a lot of slides here, but I am using slides to keep me on track. Roughly 45 years of business transformation, and I've had numerous leadership roles. I have a business education, went to a little school in Michigan for my undergraduate for engineering and business, called Kettering University now. Used to be General Motors Institute back in the day when I was there. And then went to, did a number of executive leadership from Thunderbird to University of Indiana to Wharton School. So got a lot of book knowledge, a lot of opportunities there. I've been very blessed. Spent 30 years as in corporate, working with large multi-billion-dollar companies, including General Motors, EDS, HP, you name it. Ended my corporate career as a partner at Accenture, doing large multi-billion-dollar outsourcing transactions. Was involved in building and creating the outsourcing practice for that company as they went public. Today, I'm an author, a speaker, a podcaster, a coach, a dad, a husband, you name it, a son. I'm still blessed to have a 91-year-old mother that's kicking my butt every day. And really have spent the last 16 years, now it says 15 years on the slide if you're seeing the video, in pursuing a vision of impact. And I'll talk a little bit in my story after we take a break about what that looked like. But today I have a passion for supporting inspired leaders, building community of servant leaders, and building networks of those same types of folks. I lead a group called RP Networkers, Richardson Plano Networkers, created a group called the Business Growth Network, which is kind of morphed into probably more into the Be Connected platform, and we'll talk about that at the end. And then I also have a passion for helping men support men, so I have a men's breakfast network that's here locally in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that's what I'm all about. Today's episode, I want to talk to you about the creation and the evolution of what I'm now calling the 2022 Vision Challenge. And I want to tell you a little bit of the story behind that. A number of you have asked in hearing other episodes, being my warrior guests, being in my communities, my networks. And so I thought, let's do it. Let's go live. Let's talk about this. Let's have a show specifically on the 2022 Vision Challenge. I won't go into it in great depth, but would like to share with you that journey. So before we go any further, let's take a quick break. For the audio audience, you'll hear a little bit of our theme song. It's Not the Getting There, which was written for this podcast for me by a great friend, a brilliant singer-songwriter, Ricky Jean Wright, who's also been a guest on this podcast. So you can go back and hear his episodes. He's got, I believe, 3 in the mix now. So let me take a quick break. We'll be right back and hear my story of the 2022 Vision Challenge when we come back after hearing a little bit of Ricky Jean Wright and Warrior versus Zombie.
But the miles become the teacher while the student learns real slow, traveling blind most of the time. Wherever you go, it's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not
all right. So today I want to talk to you about the story. How did the 2022 or how did the Vision Challenge come about? So in 2005, I woke up literally on an airplane. I'd been traveling roughly 4 million miles over the course of a few years, doing large multi-billion-dollar deals all over the world, living large, all the things that you really wanted to understand, and most people assume that's what they're striving for: accumulation, large things, more stuff, all that, and woke up with a sense of dread, a sense of feeling that I'd missed the mark, that I was going to end up at the end of the road with regrets. And we talked about that in the zombie excuses and some of the zombie things, and I'm not going to get into that in heavy detail, but I will tell you my story was one of realizing that it's not about the stuff. It's not about the prestige. It's not about the power. It's not about all these things. It's about people. It's about relationships. It's about impact on those that you care about. And frankly, those that I care about, to get it right out on the table, and I'm not going to preach, but I'm a Christian, and I only have 2 things that I'm supposed to live. And one is I have to love God, and I do. And the other thing is I have to love you. Doesn't matter whether I like you, doesn't matter whether I agree with you, but I have to love you. And as I looked at my life and impacting those that I love, that are closest to me, being my family, my community, my church, the causes that I cared about, I realized that I was making a lot of money, had a 7-digit income, again, all of the things that people would say, that's my why, that's where I'm going, and realized that wasn't my why. My why was to really impact the people in my life. And I was terrified. I felt like I was at a point where I was going to end up at the end of the road with a whole lot of regrets. Not of things that I did that went wrong, because plenty of those have happened over my life, and we can all cite those. But I was at a point where I could see the things that I hadn't done or I'd yet to do, and was thinking in the language of imperatives. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to spend more time with my family. I need to be more active in my community, in my church, and with my friends, be more in touch with the people. And doing that with what I was doing and how I was focused, which was making money and then making an impact, which is not a bad thing, I made a decision that said I'm going to spend whatever time I have left on the planet making an impact. And if money follows, that's a beautiful thing. I'm not against money. I think we all need money at varying levels to sustain ourselves, to fund our journey, and we can talk about that. I may do a future episode on your unique value, which is essentially how you fund your journey. But today I want to talk about overall how the Vision Challenge came about. So as I got on that journey, I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what having an impact, what that really meant. I thought at first it was the same thing, when you retire, and I retired from corporate America and did the things, thought, was playing golf and hanging with my kids. And then after I retired, about 6 months in, I had this crazy revelation. I kept saying, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I felt a little bit empty that I wasn't doing more, or there was a gap. Wasn't quite sure what that was. I was very involved with my kids. I have 5 children, and very present, which I hadn't always been, at least during the week, Monday through Friday, because I was traveling all the time. And I got to play golf with my friends. And after a while, first of all, I'm not a good enough golfer to go on tour, so I couldn't make a career out of that. As much as I enjoyed it, it really wasn't my life purpose. The other thing was that hanging out with my kids is a beautiful thing, and I know they all voted, and they said, Dad, we know we voted, and they didn't say this quite in these exact words, every one of them, but the feedback I got and I heard was, hey, don't you have friends? We got friends. We got our journey to go on. We're aligned. We love the fact that you're here. We love that you can be more present. You can go to our sports activities and be at all of the school things and be around and want to hang out. But we got stuff to do. And I began to realize that there was something missing, and I started doing some research, and I realized that the scary thing was that looking at retirement and looking at people's health and looking at their journey, the average life expectancy for somebody who retired the way I thought I was retiring in 2005 was the average life expectancy is 6 years. Well, keep in mind, I said I've been retired for 16 years on this journey of impact. So I think I beat that. But the reason is because I realized the thing that was missing is no matter how you shift what you do and how you monetize what you do, I realized that you still have to move forward with the reason you're on the planet. You still have an obligation to those who God brings into your path to serve them in the way that you uniquely can serve. So you have unique value. And then each of us, it's not what you think I should be doing or what your company thinks I should be doing or what my company thinks I should be doing or what my church thinks I should be doing or what the government thinks I should be doing, but I have a mission and a unique cause or a life purpose for what God has put me on the planet to do and a vision of where that takes me. I have an ideal day. I've been retired for 16 years. I'm still retired today. Today, you're part of what I call my ideal day. I live a version of my ideal day every day. So how did we get there? How did I get to that point? So let me talk about that. So first of all, this slide says, what is my vision for 2022? And we'll get to that, but I really, again, want to share with you. So I started on this journey and I was working, had a brilliant friend, mentor, Woody Buckner, who was doing corporate vision, working with CEOs, working with folks. I was introduced to him by Kevin Kelleher, his CFO, and we started going out and talking to folks in my network and my network being a lot of, corporate execs and other folks. And because Woody had taken his methodology, his process, and walked me through it and gave me not only the discovery and the clarity of these three things. Why am I here? Or what's the value I provide? And where, if anything, were possible. And by the way, everything is possible. Where am I going? What is the future? And so we were doing that with CEOs, and I became connected to Richardson Plano networkers, other networking, CEO NetWeavers, other places, and realized that when I was working with corporations, which I had done for many years, large, when you're putting together large transactions, it's a very political structure. There's a lot of people. You got to get people on board. A lot of politics, a lot of things like you can see today. And it felt too much like work. So I started really realizing that I was really more inspired and could work with individuals and entrepreneurs in my network more effectively and would be more inspiring to me on my daily journey. So I moved away from working with companies and CEOs. Not that I won't work with them today, but my focus has been entrepreneurs and small business owners and building communities of those folks and serving those folks for quite a while now. And so I just came to that realization and realized that whole process, which was very pricey, if you will, for a corporate executive, that I felt passionate enough that these entrepreneurs who couldn't write large checks to spend a few hours with me to get clarity, that I could bring that to the table and basically give it to them for very low cost or free. And that's what I've been doing since. And that was the creation of the Vision Challenge. If you are interested in that, at the end, I'll show you how to stay in touch, and you'll be able to reach out to me and get the Vision Challenge. So today I'm on a journey of that ideal day. I have now grandchildren. I'm very involved with them, and I am living my ideal day every day, which includes this Be Connected community. It includes the Richardson Plano Networkers community. It includes my Men's Breakfast Network. It includes my family, my kids, my grandkids, making space for everyone else. And it includes this Warrior versus Zombie podcast so that we can get entrepreneurs and business owners' story and vision out to the world. So with that, let's take a break. We're now kind of here, and I know that was a shorthand version for those who know me, but I wanted you to kind of understand how we got from the big, me being a corporate executive to creating the Vision Challenge and now working with entrepreneurs. And if you want to have more, let's have a one-to-one. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. We'll hear a little more Ricky Jean Wright, and we'll hear a little more of Warrior versus Zombie.
It's not a race to see how many people know your name. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there. When you get there, you'll know. Funny how wisdom and youth.
All right, I'm back. And it's brilliant that things work out the way they're supposed to work out. One of the things I realize is there are no accidents. Everything that occurs in my life is a divine appointment. I have to go with it, and I do. And literally everything that has occurred in my life since the time I retired, probably my entire life, but I didn't realize it until I was going on this journey, is a result of a divine appointment. So I don't spend a lot of time qualifying. If you want to reach out to me today, my website, about the only thing that I'm really satisfied with at this very moment, and not even that satisfied, is it's a booking calendar. So you can go there, book time, and I'll talk about that in the next segment. But let me talk. We talked about my story. Let me talk, or the story of the Vision Challenge, and let me talk about now today, talking about your vision for 2022 and whether you want to, thrive in 2022. And we still got 3 quarters left. The best time to start is now on anything. And so if it's positive, the best time to quit anything negative is now. So first of all, we talked about this many times already, is because the zombie is kind of fun to talk about. It's a great metaphor. By the way, the zombie thing, people ask about that all the time. It's a metaphor. We all have an inner zombie. 95% of the thoughts we think today are the same thoughts we thought yesterday, and probably the same thoughts we're going to think tomorrow. And only 5% are up here in our frontal lobe. We're thinking about, we're doing with intention. And so moving forward as a warrior means moving forward with your intention. It means seeing things that are in your way as not in your way, but just on the way, and finding a way around them. So first of all, wake up to the fact that you are doing many things that you're just going through the motions. They're your comfort zone. We talked about that in the excuses. They're things that are not growing you, moving you forward. And frankly, they won't make you happy. They won't make you fulfilled. They won't give you joy. The second step is your vision, and we'll talk, that's what we're going to focus on today, and then ultimately transforming. The purpose of the Vision Challenge is not an end. It's not shelfware, or shelf help. It is self-help. It is basically providing you an understanding of the foundation and the power that you can have moving forward. So we transform. It's a daily journey. It's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. So let's talk about the next one, which is we're zombies. I'm not going to spend time on that because we've talked about that. We went through all of the traits of zombies before. If you want to hear that, you can go back to episodes 42 if you want to hear about how to live your vision, the daily walk. If you want the case for the zombie apocalypse, you can listen to episode 54. If you want to hear what excuses are, how they fit into the whole zombie mindset, in episode 56. And now today we're talking about the Vision Challenge. So let's talk about that. The step 2 in the journey prior to transformation is understanding, again, that we all have a unique reason for being on the planet. Simon Sinek, I found after I created the Vision Challenge, somebody said to me, "Hey, you sound a lot like Simon Sinek." And I said, "Oh, who's that?" And did a little bit of research. Brilliant man. I am so proud to be aligned with Simon Sinek. There's also Dr. John DeMartini, a number of folks now that I've in studying and working on the book and things that I've come to know in doing research and kind of understanding who else is on this journey. And there's a lot of people. This is all of my stuff is sourced from one source, and if you want to know what that is, we can talk later. So we're all here for a unique reason. We all have unique value. That is the things that people find in you. We'll do an episode at some point along the way here where I will talk about how you find your unique value, how you fund your journey, how you do those things, which is what I work with my clients on. And then we all have a unique vision. If anything were possible, this is what our ideal day would look like. This would be the impact we would have. It's the same journey I take each warrior on. And if you listen to other episodes, you'll hear their vision, their reason, their value as we talk to those warriors. So that's what the Vision Challenge is all about. So when you talk about your unique reason, this is why you're on the planet. Your unique value is everybody. If you go back and if you went through the Vision Challenge, you would find, and as I reflected on my own life, from the time I was roughly 2 years old until today, I've always been brought in to provide value in a certain way. Didn't matter the topic, didn't matter the company, whether nonprofit, profit. I've been in the church community now. I've worked with all kinds of companies across all industries, individuals from all walks of life, and I'm always called on or valued for my unique value. And you are too. You just need to understand what that is. So many times we do what we found. Maybe you were working for a company, you figured out how to do it, you felt you're good at it. Didn't really inspire you, but you just were turning the crank. There's something about that, by the way, that probably gives you insight into your unique value, but it may not be the actual task or the function that really inspires you on a day-to-day basis. So anyway, and then we all have a unique vision. So looking at what somebody else has done may give you inspiration to say, I can do that too. It may give you a picture. Looking at a vision board, I think it's good to visualize and understand where you're going, but it's got to be more than a vision board. You know, your mind is smarter than that. And the problem is the zombie mind keeps telling you, no matter how many times you say it, that you've failed before and you can't get there. So what I do in the easiest and simplest way is I every day run my life by divine appointment, and I look for dreams. You say dreams? Yeah. Not nightmares, but we all have dreams. We all have a vision of what our life could look like, or what we would like for it to look like, what we can imagine. And the thing is, if we can imagine it, it's possible. It's not, here's all the reasons in my zombie brain that I haven't been able to get there, but here's why I want to do it. And here's the reason I'm here. This is to do this, or to have this outcome, is why God has me on the planet. To deliver the value, here's how the things that I can do. And then the reason why I focus on community so much, whether it's the Be Connected community, the RP Networkers community, is life is a team sport. We all need other people. I am not an expert, probably in much of anything, but I do know questions to ask. I do know how to connect people, and we all need a team around us. E-Myth Revisited is a good one to read if you want to understand how, as an entrepreneur, you can get stuck. But anyway, and obviously start with the why, that was in ultimately Vision Warrior Survive and Thrive in the Zombie Apocalypse will be my book. And by the way, this podcast and other things will be part of that. And the warriors on this podcast will be part of that book, at least referred to in not necessarily by name, but maybe by name. We will see. So anyway, so that's what the Vision Challenge is. And I know we didn't get into great detail, but it is a one-to-one today workshop type program that we're working on to deliver. And so I want to talk about that. So basically then, once you've gone through, you understand that foundation of knowing why you're here, the value you provide, and if anything were possible, where would you go, gives you the power to move into a networking organization, to communicate to your market, to do whatever it is that you're led to do. Lead a nonprofit, lead a company, have your dream job. That almost seems like an oxymoron, but go for it. Whatever, or have the company you've always wanted to have, and be inspired on a daily basis, even though you will continually be confronted with zombies and challenges, both within your mind and going forward. So that's what I'm doing. Again, let me take a quick break here. We'll hear a little more of Ricky Jean Wright, and I'll come back and I'll give you what I want you to take away from this and how to stay in touch.
Funny how wisdom and youth are always two different games. The years flew by so fast is the common human complaint. The memories in our minds turn to diamonds in our soul. And by the grace of God.
All right, we are back. For those seeing this live or in the replay mode, I know that wasn't a long break, but I do like taking the break, and this most of our downloads and audience comes from the audio audience because we've been doing this since 3 weeks before the zombie apocalypse. So, what do I want you to take away from this? What I want you to understand is everyone, every warrior listening to this podcast, everyone on the planet has a unique reason for being on the planet. You are here. You wake up in the morning. You are alive. And when you're allowed to wake up and take that breath in the morning, realize that that breath, that inspiration is there. And it's up to you to continually get in tune with and align with that unique reason. Number two, everybody that is brought into your sphere of influence has the need and the opportunity to be served with your unique value. The things that you do for others, the way you contribute to your community, the way you contribute to your business is your unique value. And people look to you for that, whether they realize it or not, whether you realize it or not. So it's your job to make sure that is delivered. It's not the government's, it's not your church, it's not your spouse, it's not your friends, it's not your network, it's not your company, it's you. You are responsible for delivering that unique value to those that God brings in your path, or the universe. Again, if you get hung up with my discussion about God, label it however you want. The truth is still the truth, and we all have unique value. And the third thing is anything is possible. The signature question of the Vision Challenge is, if anything were possible, what kind of future would you imagine? What kind of ideal day? First of all, I said it's not a destination. It's a journey every day, right? So it's not like, okay, here, when I get here, I know I'll arrive. No, when you get there, you'll be leaving the planet and you'll know. That's the theme song of the podcast. So, but in the meantime, that ideal day is there. We know what it is. Maybe sometimes we're afraid to expand because it pushes us out of our comfort zone. But we know what that future looks like. So as a warrior, understand you all have a unique reason, you all have a unique vision, and you have unique value that you can provide to those that are brought into your path. So whether you monetize that or not, that impact is there. It's available for you. So that's what it's all about. I appreciate you listening to me today. I'm not sure how long this went because I always go with my instinct, either whether I have a guest or not. But I did want to convey the 2022 Vision Challenge to you today and help you understand a little bit behind it. If you have questions, the way you can reach out to me is I'm on Be Connected. As you'll see on the slide, if you're looking at the video, I have two groups in the Be Connected community, the Warrior versus Zombie group, which is there on the screen. It's bkvisionwarrior.com/warrior if you go to that. And if you go to the RP Networkers group, if you want to join that community, it's bkvisionwarrior.com/RPN group. But you can go to the Be Connected platform. If you're not registered, consider this my personal invitation. It's by invitation only. And so you can go to the Be Connected platform after listening to this podcast. Go to www.beconnected, that's BEEKONNECTED.com/myvisionwarrior/ and that will take you to a page where you can register for free, get unlimited connections, get a lot of other benefits just for being part of the community. And then you can join my groups and you can have access to the Vision Challenge. You can have access to the Zombie Quiz. Basically, the beauty of Be Connected, Unlike all the other social platforms, which I'm not dissing, I'm saying, but you need focus. You can have millions of connections, which many of the people on the Be Connected platform do. But you need to be able to actually do that with intention, with your warrior mind. So with that, let's land the plane, if you will. This is the Land the Plane segment, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Warrior versus Zombie after hearing a little bit of Ricky Jean Wright.
It's not the getting there, it's the journey every day. It's not a race to see how many people know your name. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there, when you get there you'll know. One day you realize time was worth more than the gold. It's not the getting there, when you get there you'll know.